Coming up on SportsCenter, it's D-Day and Big D as the Stars and Avs battle for a Stanley Cup final appearance in Game 7. The Knicks look to take charge against the Pacers in New York, but with Patrick out, who would be the center of attention?
That angel was telling me to fly. Fly high.
Nomar and Derek are back in the lineup as the Yanks and Red Sox do battle on day 2. Would Rocker get rocked in Houston, or would Jones leave the Astros feeling not so chipper? A familiar name at the top of the leaderboard as Tiger continues to roar at the Memorial. The hockey world mourns the passing of a legend. We'll take a look at the career and life of the Rocket, Maurice Richard.
If hockey is a religion, Maurice Richard was God.
We'll have all the sparkling and not-so-sparkling catches as all the action comes crashing in. SportsCenter keeps rolling on. Next.
Hi there. Welcome to SportsCenter. Bill Pito, Trey Wingo. We have lots to discuss, including the passing of the Rocket and a Game 7 in Dallas. But first, Bill, Game 3 in New York. Knicks need a win.
Indeed, and they had to do it without Patrick Ewing, who didn't suit up because of the foot injury. Ewing did suit up, but not in his playing suit. First quarter, Rick Smith's taking advantage. He's averaging just 11.6 per game in this playoffs, but he was on fire here in the first half from the baseline, from the corner. Mark Jackson then behind the back to Smiths as the big guy scored 21 of the Pacers' 42 points in the first half. I could have stopped them. Second quarter, Knicks by 3. Marcus Camby, not what the Knicks need. Hurts his right knee, wrenching it. Camby helped the bench. Eventually wheeled out of the arena, but it's just a sprain, no ligament damage. He's listed as day-to-day. Meanwhile, Kurt Thomas looks good, but he's got something in his nose, got hit in the nose. Second half, here come the Knicks. They're only down 1 at the break. LJ in the second half had 14 points overall in the game. Knicks by 4. Travis Best to Smith. Watch Charlie Ward. Gives up over a foot to the Indiana center. Get that out of there. Are you kidding me? Van Gundy loved it. Fourth quarter, Allen Houston and Latrell Sprewell take over. This is Spree. He had a game-high 32. Ewing likes that. And then later in the fourth, Houston more assertive than he has been in games past. Knicks go up by 11. And then still in the fourth, Sprewell to Thomas, wide open on the inside. Thomas had 4 points in the game. We're still in the fourth quarter. Houston had 28 points in the game over Mark Jackson. Knicks by 10. And Sprewell one more time. The sweet jumper right in the face of Jalen Rose. And the Knicks go on to win Game 3, 98-95. So they trail the series 2-1. Rose, 26 for Indiana. Smith's 25, but Smith's scored only 4 points the entire second half. No Ewing, no Camby, but it always seems to turn out the best for the Knicks when it looks the worst. After the game, Larry Bird unhappy with his team's second half performance.
Talked about, they're 24 minutes away of putting themselves in a good position to win this series, and come out and play like we did. It's very disappointing. We turned the ball over. We had too many guys that didn't show up to play, and every time we give them an opportunity to get back out there and redeem themselves, they just played worse, and it's very frustrating.
I'd rather take my chances with Patrick, to be honest. But if he's not going to be there, guys that are going to get more touches and more opportunities to score have to step up. And today we did do that.
We're still in control of the series. We're still a team with 2 victories going into Monday's game. If we can find a way to win on Monday, we're still in the driver's seat.
When Ewing goes down, Sprewell and Houston go up. The Knicks 4-1 against the Pacers in the playoffs the last 2 years without Ewing. In the 5 games, the combined average for Sprewell and Houston has gone up by almost 10 points. Their combined field goal percentage has also improved, even though the two obviously take more shots without Ewing in the lineup. Coming up later, much more on Game 3 as the Knicks come off the critical list playing small ball.
Now to the ice. Last year, Western Conference Finals, the Avs blew a 3-2 series lead against Dallas. Tonight, in Game 7 in Dallas, Colorado looking to return the favor, helping the Avs cause greatly Raymond Bourque. In Boston, Bourque played in 6 Game 7s. The Bruins won all 6. No wonder everybody loves Raymond. Everybody, that is, except Dallas, who would have no problems canceling the very popular series. Here we go. Patty Wadge is 2-4 in Game 7s. He's lost his last 3 coming in. Ed Belfour, 3-0 in Game 7s. Both goalies a .930 save percentage in the postseason. First period, Grant Marshall intercepts Adam Foote's pass and feeds Joey Nieuwendyk on the breakaway. Patrick Waugh gets the save, but Foote called for interference. Power play on it. Sergei Zubov with the blast. His second 1-0 Dallas. Why is Patrick Waugh upset? His shot deflects off Avs defenseman Aaron Miller's knee. Richard Matvichuk back after that concussion, and Peter Forsberg welcomes him back. Under 15 seconds left, Dallas on the power play. Zubov, the great cross-ice pass to Mike Modano. Post and in! Modano's ninth, 2-0 Dallas. Post would figure mightily in this game. Second period, Darian Hatcher's slap shot through traffic that gets by Waugh. How did it get by Waugh? The shot deflects off Mike Keane and then off Roman Lyashenko's leg. A two-banger. Lyashenko gets credit, 3-0 Dallas. Forsberg saying, let's go. 6 minutes into the third, Dallas on the power play. Chris Drury to Forsberg. Short-handed goal. Forsberg's seventh. It's go time, 3-1 Dallas. Later, Ray Bourque, the slapper, and Milan Hajduk right through the wickets of Belfour on the deflection. His fifth. We've got a one-goal game in Game 7. And then controversy, still 3-2, 21 seconds left. Scramble in front. The whistle is blown, but the Avs didn't think Belfour had covered the puck. Bob Hartley can't believe it. Wouldn't believe that. He wouldn't believe this. Last second, Bourque lets it go. Adam Deadmarch deflects it by Belfour. Another post. Both posts go the way of Dallas in this game. Modano's shot goes in. The direction of Belfour's shot does not. Belfour 31 saves, and the Stars get to defend their cup, winning Game 7 3-2. Second straight year they've won a Game 7 against Colorado. Dallas gets a shot at repeating thanks to the friendly posts and thanks to the play of Belfour in the pipes and Mike Modano putting it in the net.
It was an unbelievable series. It went both ways. The whole way. It could have went either way today. And, we're thankful we got, kind of lucky at the end. We're holding on, but we're very thankful we won. Both teams are so evenly matched that, you have to go to basically the intangibles to decide the winner and the loser. And, you look at their 3 goals. They were deflected, and we have to give them credit. It's been a great experience, a great ride, and I was hoping that was going to work out differently, but, I was looking to compete for the cup, and we did that. We have big players who make big plays at the right time, and this whole series was a good sense of timing on our part. I think we scored up big goals. Eddie made great saves one after another throughout the whole series and allowed us to be in every single game we played.
I thought in Game 5 we played well. Game 6 we played better, and we played better in Game 7. We beat one hell of a hockey club. We beat a hell of a hockey club.
Anybody calls Ed Belfour underrated anymore, they don't know anything about the NHL. 4 Game 7 starts for Belfour, 4 wins. That's the most for any goaltender ever without a loss. In fact, only Harry Lumley and Grant Fuhr have 4 Game 7 wins. On the other hand, as we said off the top, Patty Waugh falls to just 2-5 in Game 7s, and for the second straight year, Belfour beats Waugh in a Game 7. Later on SportsCenter, we will preview the Stanley Cup Finals, the Devils and Dallas in the quest for the Chalice.
He was known as the Rocket, a lightning-quick skater who became the first NHL player to score 50 goals in a season and 500 goals in a career. Maurice Richard, a hockey legend and royalty in Montreal, died this evening at the age of 78. Richard had been battling cancer and Parkinson's disease.
He was one of the greatest, and I pause to say, and maybe the greatest, and I mean that with all due respect to all hockey players that have ever played. But for me, in his last year, the year that I knew him closer, he still demonstrated the same intensity, the same competitiveness, the same desire to win, and he was fighting a different battle. But he never, ever lost touch with his public.
Maurice Richard, the Rocket, dead at the age of 78. We'll have a look back at his legendary career later in SportsCenter.
Bill, meanwhile, the Flyers' Eric Lindros is out of the hospital and home tonight, but you have to believe he may be out of the NHL for good after suffering this 4th concussion in 5 months last night. Lindros' younger brother, Brett, had to retire in '96 because of multiple concussions, and Eric may have to accept the very same fate. This season alone, he's missed a game with a viral infection, a bruised hand, back spasms, and 34 games due to concussions and post-concussion syndrome.
Derek Jeter spent the last couple of weeks in Florida rehabbing a strained abdominal muscle. He wanted to be ready to go for his return today in New York, so he chartered his own flight, and most of the money will come out of his own pocket because the Yanks will only reimburse the cost of what a first-class commercial plane ticket would have been. Jeter doesn't care. If you were making $7 million a year, would you? Jeter back for the Yanks against Boston. Nomar Garciaparra also back off the DL in the game for the Red Sox. Before the game, El Duque's got problems of his own, stiff back, would not pitch. Jason Grimsley got the start for the Yanks, top of the third.
Of course, he has a lot to do with that.
Runners on second and third. Grimsley way outside of Trot Nixon. Darren Lewis scoring, 2-0 Boston. Same batter, Jeff Fry leading off third. Trot Nixon, suicide squeeze. Fry's in there, and the Sox are up by the score of 3-0. Next man up for Boston, Brian Dahlbach, hitting the leg by Grimsley. Uh-oh. Jimmy Williams looks on. Bottom of the third, 2 outs. Brian Rose to Ricky Leday. Turnabout is fair play.
And there you go.
No issues, though. No benches clear, nothing like that. Meanwhile, John Valentin, long drive to left. Leday, no worse for the wear after getting hit. What a great catch. The bottom of the fifth, it's 3-2 Boston. Leday again, crushing it to right center. Third of the year, ties the game at 3 runs apiece. 5-3 Yanks in the bottom of the sixth. This is Paul O'Neill, his 6th of the year, a monstrous drive over the wall and right, and the Yanks go on to win by the final score of 8-3. Jeter went 3 for 4. He says the time in Tampa may have helped him with his swing. Says Jeter, I was doing everything wrong. My hands were in the wrong place. I was too far back in the box. I was lunging. The Yanks had lost 9 of the last 13, but the win today evens the series with Boston at 1 game apiece. In the Yankees' 7 most recent wins, they're averaging over 8 runs a game. In their 9 most recent losses, they're averaging only 1.9 runs per game, scoring just 17 runs total in their 9 most recent losses. Indians and the White Sox, Cleveland in a dicey situation. Jose Valentin has already hit for the cycle once this year.
He will hit the right center field.
That's a home run. Sox are up by the score of 2-0. In the bottom of the second, Valentin up, bases loaded. Fair ball. It's going to be a triple. 3 runs come in this score. Sox up 6-zip. So Valentin's got 5 RBIs through the first 2 innings of the game. Now, Valentin again. This is a double.
The top of the wall.
So he's got a homer, a triple, and a double. Another run scores. Now looking for the cycle in the bottom of the 7th. Only needs a single, but he grounds out to Travis Fryman. White Sox go on to win 14-3. Now lead the Indians by 2.5 games in the Central. Valentin driving in a career-high 6 runs, just a single away from becoming the first AL player to ever hit for the cycle twice in 1 season. 3 RBIs as well in the game for the White Sox, Carlos Lee.
Thought we'd dust this one off tonight because tomorrow it'll be history. Tiger Woods is the defending champion at the Memorial. In 25 years, the Memorial has never had a repeat champion. Tiger's never defended any of his 21 titles worldwide professionally. Bet the farm you'll never hear either sentence again. Roll tape. Tiger Woods, 3rd round, went off on both tees and threesomes because of impending rain. The only storm was Tiger's. Second shot, par 4, 3rd hole. You know he's first on tour in greens in regulation? Now you know what. Hit it stiff, he would birdie the hole. We're moving on. Woods now on the par 5, 7th for Eagle. He's first on tour in Eagles. Jar. He's now at 15 under, played the par 5s at 5 under today. You know, Tiger's only 8th in birdies on par 3s on tour. I think that stat may be changing. Almost an ace. He is first on tour in scoring average. Tap in, hit all 9 greens in regulation on the front 9. Justin Leonard trying to rally. Jar, shot a 6 under 66. He's at 10 under. How about Steve Lowry? 1 win on tour, long birdie putt on 16, and it's in. Steve Lowry also with a 66. He's at 11 under. Back to Tiger. 15th hole, par 5. Did I mention he's first on tour in birdies per round? Almost holds it out for the Eagle. By the way, we also found out Tiger's first in total driving, first on the money list, first in par breakers, first in par 5 birdies, first in 3rd round scoring average, and first in final round scoring average. He's pretty good. So in reality, Sunday will become a 4-hour victory tour. The 6-stroke lead, the largest 3rd round bulge so far this season. And the man closest to Tiger is Lowry, who's got only 1 win on tour. Oh, by the way, the last 14 times he's had a PGA Tour lead on Sunday, he's cashed in one of those big cardboard checks.
This golf course is not exactly easy, and today the conditions were a lot more benign because of the rain, and you can go ahead and be more aggressive today. And you can see by the scores how low these guys are going. A lot of mid-60s rounds out there, and lucky enough I was one of them.
Well, I tell you, he's He's absolutely murdered the golf course the last 2 days, hasn't he? And that's unbelievable. I just, he amazes me.
I had 4 lip outs on the back 9 alone. And it could have been a little bit lower than what it was, but nonetheless, I built on my lead, and that's what you want to do.
You know, I think he has a future in this game. Tiger has twice finished second while defending a title, including this year's Buick Invitational at Torrey Pines, but this will be the first time he's had the lead after 3 rounds when defending, and barring an act of God, all this becomes irrelevant in about 17 hours.
Still to come here on SportsCenter, a nightmare all around for the Blazers in Game 3 against the Lakers. They lose a lead, a game, and maybe a star player for a while. Later, we'll tell you who could miss Game 4. Also coming up here on the program, can Shane Reynolds mow down the Braves and improve his record this year to a perfect 6-0.
But Billy, wait, that's not all. Preston Wilson broke his bat, but did the Marlins break the Reds tonight?
Sorry.
People do some strange things to cars. That's why there's Carfax. We'll give you the real history of any used car. Get a Carfax report from your dealer or at Carfax.com.
Want to make your customers feel like 1 in a jillion? Let us help. With a Jillion, you can treat every customer like your most important customer, all on the web. Isn't your business worth a Jillion?
How to speak Australian. Aromatherapy. Beer. Foster's, Australian for beer.
How is an echo a reflection of you?
Center-mounted instrument panel, 6-speaker audio system, funky, 2 glove compartments,
Dash pockets.
headroom, legroom, room for front, door pocket, adjustable head restraints, fold-down back seat, lightweight, zippy.
How is an echo a reflection of you?
Fun.
There's a whole lot more on the inside.
Fat cushions, skinny price, high visibility, adjustable head restraints, EVTI engine, funky.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Foster's, Australian for beer, and by Toyota. Go for it every day.
For the first time, they closed the roof at Enron Field. A sticky day in the 90s in Houston becomes tolerable with the roof closed and the AC at 72 degrees. The Stros in a good mood regardless. They beat the Braves last night by 1 run, their first 1-run victory in 13 one-run games this season, said Bill Spires, who drove in the game-winning run. This has been unreal and unusual. I've been stunned. To Houston, hello. John Rocker getting booed. Bottom 9, 6'5" Atlanta. Rocker walks Bill Spires. Walks Jeff Bagwell. Next man up, Ken Caminiti, wild pitch. Bagwell and Spires move up on the play. Remember, it's a 1-run game. Caminiti draws an intentional pass. Bases loaded, no outs. Stros down by 1. Darrell Ward gets hit by Rocker's pitch. Rocker gets pulled. Kerry Lightenberg comes in. Shot to center. Andrew Jones makes the catch. Bill Spires, the winning run, or the tying run, did not tag. 1 out. Base is still loaded, and Lightenberg gets Richard Hidalgo to ground into the game-ending double play, and the Braves survive. Barely. The final score 6-5. So much for the Stros' 1-game win streak in 1-run games, says Lightenberg, who saved the day in the 9th. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I was just trying to get some outs. Houston's Moises Alou left the game with tightness in his quad. Meanwhile, in progress, the Phillies lead the Dodgers 6-2 in the top of the 3rd. Desi Relaford for the Phils already with 5 RBIs in the game. And Pat Burrell, the rookie, his 2nd home run of the season.
Well, for the D-Rays pitching staff, happiness is Henderson in their rearview mirror. Ricky's played exactly 3 games this season against Tampa Bay. He's had a leadoff homer in all 3. And amazingly, the binge almost made Ricky sound humble. Quote, "I don't know if I've ever done that before," end quote. Lou Piniella today did what the D-Rays couldn't do, keep Henderson off the base paths. Ricky had the night off. The Devil Rays did not have the night off. Top of the 5th, 2 on for John Olerud facing Brian Rekar. 1-1 tie. Olerud sends it up to left center. Stan Javier will tally, as will Alex Rodriguez. Mariners take a 3-1 lead. Bottom of the 6th, D-Rays down 4-3, trying to come back. Vinny Castilla on first for John Flaherty. Base hit to left field. Stan Javier cuts it off. Now Castilla, not exactly the fastest guy out there trying to score from first. Toast. He's only out by like a mile. The relay cut him down, and the rally was over. Mariners win 6-3. That's 11 losses in 13 games for Tampa Bay. They've dropped 8 straight series and proudly sport the major's worst record. That's 6 saves and 7 chances for the M's. Kazuhiro Sasaki, 5 Seattle pitchers combined on the 4-hitter. Rangers and Twins, you ask for, you get it. Okay, see, just stay away from the cough syrup, sir. Bottom 3rd, Rangers up 4-1. Jay Cannizzaro grounds up the middle. Royce Clayton, great stop, throws to first for the out. Top of the 5th now, Twins up 5-4. Joe Mays facing David Segui. Comebacker in Mays, nice play. Stays with it and throws him out. Bottom 5, still 5-4. 2 on for Butch Husky. Husky lines it into left. Chad Curtis, ball goes all the way to the wall. It's a double for Husky. Matt Lawton and Midre Cummings score. Twins go up 7-4 and go on to win 10-5. How about Joe Mays? He improves, I'm told, to 2-6. How else could he do anything else? Last season, the Twins lost all 12 games to Texas. So far this year, they've won 4 of 5 against him. Rusty Greer wasn't there for the Rangers. Earlier this week, his wife delivered twins. Glove? We don't need no stinking glove. In Toronto, that is. Jason Tiger's coming your way.
Coming up also why the Lakers will be a man down and why Portland may be a man down for tomorrow's game number 4.
Hi, I'm Eric Webster, host of the show to turn to for all direct ticket pay-per-view event information, DirecTV Big Events. This week, sit down with WCW up-and-comer Vampiro and get a glimpse into the paranormal world of psychic and spiritual teacher Sylvia Brown. Find out what catapulted pro wrestling into its current state, travel to Liverpool with Paul McCartney, and get a profile of WCW superstar Disco Inferno. We're on Channel 200 all week. Click on over.
They say one's cows are mad, a monstrous slur. They say one's dentistry is diabolical. Looks fine to me. But there's one thing they say which is absolutely bang on. One's television is brilliant.
If one wants the best of British television on BBC America, one gets the Total Choice package on DirecTV. Visit www.directtv.com.
One wants one's BBC.
That'll be on DirecTV, madam.
Quite.
Introducing ESPN Extra, the brand new cable channel for sports fans who can't get enough. On ESPN Extra, you get more of the sports you love, like international soccer from around the world, including the UEFA Champions League. You'll see international auto racing, fitness, and outdoor programming. Plus, there's EXPN, which offers exciting extreme sports programming. It's all on pay-per-view around the clock all week long and only on cable. Watch ESPN Now or your program guide to see what's on. Then order exactly like you would for a pay-per-view movie. ESPN Extra, you can't do better than that.
Hi, I'm Brian Kenny. Coming up on Baseball Tonight, Javier Vasquez looks for 3 in a row in San Diego. Who made out better in the Ricky Henderson move, the Mets or the Mariners? And we'll break down Brian Rose and his struggles in the Bronx. Join me, Dave Campbell, and Jason Stark. Baseball Tonight after SportsCenter.
The Callaway ball? Yeah, I heard it's built to avoid sand. That's right. My buddy Murph at work told me about this whale watcher guy with these huge binoculars. Catches these Callaway scientists, lab coat guys, dropping balls in the sand. All by itself, a ball takes off, up off the sand, to the parking lot, a perfect lie. Forget about bunkers. Forget about it. Me and Murph are already forgotten about it. I said to Murph the other day, hey, bunker, and he was like, what?
Got a jillion things to do? Stay on top of them all with a jillion. It's the web-based wonder that keeps customer service your top priority. Isn't your business worth a jillion?
Now this really cooks. Big appliance and electronics sale at Sears, as in save big on all appliances and all home electronics, all top brands, only through Monday and only at Sears.
get DirecTV and get 2 months of 32 premium movie channels. And you'll also get 25 specialty sports networks free. There's something for everyone, so what's not to like? DirecTV, now with local channels.
Well, not only did the Lakers win their first road game in a Western Conference final in 11 years last night, they also won back home court advantage from the Blazers. However, as Shelley Smith reports, whoever's going to win Game 4 tomorrow is going to have to overcome some limitations on their personnel.
The Lakers were dealt a blow Saturday, learning that Brian Shaw will not be available for Game 4. The league suspended Shaw for 1 game and fined him $2,500 for leaving the bench during the Scottie Pippen-Rick Fox altercation. And the Blazers may be without Rasheed Wallace, who sprained his left ankle in Game 3.
Rasheed is a major cog in their game, and with his bad ankle, he wasn't doing as many things as he was doing before, you know. And you could really tell that it was bothering him because he didn't really try. He wasn't as aggressive as he could have been.
The Blazers were still smarting from their lack of aggression in a third quarter in which the Lakers pulled ahead by a point after being down by as many as 14 in the first half.
They started getting all the loose balls and some second chance points. We got a little bit slower on our double teams or our communications on our reads, and next thing you know, we let Shaq get into a pretty good rhythm, and it kind of changed the momentum of the game.
Those are games that we should pull out, but we were knuckleheads last night, and we made knucklehead mistakes.
I'd rather get blown out than lose by 2 points, or 1 point rather, but that's the way the game goes sometimes. You can't do nothing about that.
With the injuries and the intensity of the game, preparing for Game 4 has taken on a new twist.
Short hours between games, less than 48. It's going to be a game in which whoever recuperates quickest is going to be better off. And we have a couple guys that played 48 minutes basically in Shaq and Kobe. They've got to rejuvenate themselves and have a lot of energy to play.
Harper's talking about going out and playing some holes of golf. My suggestion is just stay in the room and ice them legs down, man, because we got a lot of old bodies. I hope it's not about recuperation because they got a lot of young legs over there.
Wallace got treatment on his ankle Saturday, insisting that it wasn't bothering him and that he would be fine in time for Sunday's game. Mike Dunleavy, however, wasn't as optimistic. Still, Wallace's teammates were, saying there's no way he'd miss a game of this magnitude because of a sore ankle. In Portland, I'm Shelley Smith, ESPN.
Shelley, thanks. And the status of Rasheed's turned ankle could turn this series. His 29 points in Game 2 against the Lakers, the Blazers' best outing of this postseason. However, his output in Games 1 and 3 barely equals that mark of Game 2. He's the one player on the floor that creates major matchup problems for the Lakers, Bill.
Blue Jays and the Tigers were in the top of the 8th. Carlos Delgado up with 2 on. Blue Jays down 3-2. Tying run comes in. We're tied at 3. Delgado in the game went 1 for 4. Bottom 9 still tied at 3 runs apiece. Davy Cruz to right center. Brad Ausmus comes around to score. Get there, Brad. And that is that. He's in there as the Tigers win it by the score of 4-3. Last night, Detroit's Doug Brocail gave up 5 runs in the 7th. Today, he gets the win going 1 2/3 without giving up a single hit. Brocail relieved Hideo Nomo, who pitched well, giving up 3 runs in 7 1/3 for a no decision. A's and the Orioles were in the top of the 1st. Olmedo signs. Gets a hold of it. Brady Anderson, great effort, couldn't make the catch. 2 runs come in to score for Oakland. They are now up by the score of 2-0. In the bottom of the 4th, Tim Hudson, the benefit of some good D. Delano DeShields off Hudson's glove. Frank Menachino fields across his body in time. Hudson was perfect through 4. Bottom 5, A's up 2-zip, bases loaded, 1 out. Greg Myers back to Hudson, fields it to home for 1. The relay to first in time, yes. Double play. Hudson didn't give up a run in 7 1/3, and now B.J. Surhoff strikes out. Jeff Tam, the pitcher there. Oakland wins it 4-0 as Hudson has now won his last 5 decisions. He's now 6-2 on the year. Miguel Tejada for Oakland, 2 for 5. Every Oakland starter had at least 1 hit. Angels and the Royals tied up at 5 right now, playing the bottom of the 10th inning. Johnny Damon for KC has a 2-run single. Jermaine Dye an RBI single. This game should go final in the next couple of moments. We'll pass along the information right now. The Royals up in the bottom of the 10th with the bases loaded.
Well, still coming. They ran that snowed-out kart race in Nazareth tonight, and Mark Blundell had to be thinking, I came back for this?
Cubs and the Giants. I got it, Chicago. I got it, Chicago.
On June 16th, the mystery.
Have you ever seen anything like it?
The adventure. The struggle between good and evil.
Let's do this!
Get ready.
All right, try this, guys.
For the next generation of filmed animation.
I'd lean back if I were you.
Should I get out and push?
Titan AE, rated PG, June 16th, only in theaters.
I'm so in love with you. Whatever you want to do is all right with me. 'Cause you make me feel so brand new.
Alonzo, is it true EAS nutritional supplements are your secret weapon?
Can we talk about this later?
So, EAS is your supplement of choice.
I said later.
I suppose you've never seen this Myoplex before. Myoplex is high in protein and helps energize performance. You think it helped you get to the playoff?
Let's just say EAS gives me the edge.
Get the edge. Look for special offers on EAS products at Vitamin Shop, GNC, Vitamin World, and other fine health food stores.
Tune in to Baseball Tonight every night at 10 and midnight on ESPN. Watch Going, Going, Gone, brought to you by Century 21, and find out who hit the day's home runs. Century 21 is also giving away $250,000 toward a dream home. For details on how to enter and a chance to win $250,000 toward a home, log on to ESPN.com or Century21.com. Going, Going, Gone for the day's stingers. ESPN.com or Century21.com for some serious home improvement.
We got a developing situation for you. We told you the Angels and the Royals were tied at 5 in the 10th. Bases loaded for KC. Joe Randa popping it up. Mo Vaughn does not think Jermaine Dye is going to tag and score, but looky here. Here he comes. The winning run. Safe. Royals win it in 10, 6-5. David McCarty tied the game in the 9th with a 2-run home run, and there the Royals win it. Final score, 6-5.
Also in extra innings, the Cubs beat the Giants 3-2 in 11. That's just the Cubs' 8th road win and 24 away from Wrigley this season. They break a 5-game losing streak in San Francisco. Russ Ortiz for San Francisco, or Ortiz, struck out a career-high 11, but alas, he also matched his career high with 7 walks. Hey, what about the D-backs and Brewers? Bottom of the 5th, 2 outs, none on. D-backs trail 3-1. Arubiel Durazo. The heck was I trying to say? Smacks the Jason Bray pitch to center field. Marquise Grissom plays it like I just spoke it. Diamondback's still alive. Next batter, Steve Finley. Contact. 18th of the year, deep out and gone. This game's tied at 3. Bottom of the 6th, runners on second, no outs, same score. Jay Bell, rippage. Tony Womack will come in to score. D-backs go up 4-3 and go on to win 7-3. Hey, speaking of Womack, his hitting streak now at 22 games. D-backs team record home winning streak now at 11. Overall, they've won 5 straight. The Brewers have lost 4 in a row. And with his 18th, Steve Finley ties the D-backs franchise record, the long and historic franchise D-back record, with 9 homers in a month.
For the first time since the IRL split from CART in 1995, CART drivers will drive in the Indy 500. Both Juan Montoya and Jimmy Vasser drove today in the CART event in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Both will be in Indianapolis tomorrow for the 500. Today's CART event, a makeup of a snow out in April. Otherwise, Montoya and Vasser wouldn't have such a busy weekend. To the Bosch Sparkplug Grand Prix. The weather, not a situation today. Lap 129, Juan Montoya and Paul Tracy, a problem. Montoya forced to drop back. He finished 4th. He starts 2nd tomorrow at Indy. Now Mark Blundell and Julio Castroneves collide along the wall, both done for the day. Watch it again. Blundell pulling his hands off the wheel when he's realized that he's headed for the wall. Suffered bruises on his back, otherwise okay. Final lap now. Gilles de Ferran cruising home to take the checkered flag, giving team owner Roger Penske his 100th career win, all the more significant after two of Penske's drivers, Gonzalo Rodriguez and Greg Moore, were killed last year in separate crashes. Says DeFerrin, there is so much meaning to this, it's hard to put into words. Montoya got 4th. Vassar came in 7th. And tomorrow, Indy 500, 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning on the ABC television network.
Indy 500 Report is brought to you by Firestone, America's tire since 1900.
Coming up, the Stanley Cup Final all set. It's never too early to set the table, so who might have the edge?
And Billy, we will also head back to New York, where Charlie Ward and the Knicks rejected the idea of a 3-game lead for the Pacers in this series.
Hello, I'm Daphne Brogdon.
And I'm Gary Valentine.
We're your hosts on an exciting new show for movie lovers, Movie Showcase on DirecTV.
Each week, we'll show you the hottest new movies and original series on premium movie services, HBO, Starz, and Showtime.
And check out the newest releases on Direct Ticket Pay-Per-View.
Plus, movie trivia and more. There's a new show starting every Monday on Channel 100 and 500.
So join us on Movie Showcase on DirecTV.
30 homers and 30 stolen bases in a single season used to be a rarity. Not anymore. More players did it in the last decade than in the previous 90 years combined. This year, the magic number is 30, 30, 35, as in up to 35 games each week with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-800-GET-SPORTS and follow your out-of-market favorites throughout the 2000 regular season. Which one of these guys will be the first to 30-30 in 2000? See for yourself with MLB Extra Innings.
How would you really like to get to know Jeff Gordon, Dan Marino, Dennis Rodman, Brett Favre, Pete Sampras, Charles Barkley? Find out why Greg Maddux wears a Mickey Mouse watch, what Mike Piazza does in bars, what kind of wrestler Tim Duncan would be. All this and more in Outtakes, a new book by Dan Patrick. Full expanded interviews from Dan's Outtakes column in ESPN the magazine take you inside the minds of today's favorite athletes. Offbeat, revealing, and fuego. Outtakes in bookstores now or through ESPN.com.
Patrick Ewing did not play today for the Knicks. Marcus Camby went down in the first quarter with a knee injury. For a half, Rick Smits took advantage and dominated, scoring 21 points in the first 2 quarters. But Smits scored only 4 points in the second half, a big reason why the Knicks won Game 3, 98-95. Melissa Stark now with more on the Knicks' ability to play small ball.
All you had to see was 6'2" Charlie Ward stuffing 7'4" Rick Smits to know that size doesn't matter after all. The smaller Knicks took over Game 3 in the third quarter with a trapping defense that led to numerous turnovers and an aggressive take-it-to-the-hole mentality. But the epitome of small ball winning out was Smits getting blocked by Ward.
I just saw Charlie jump like he was jumping over a car or something.
That angel was telling me to fly, fly high.
That was some angel.
I just want to go out and play with the energy to get our guys going, and today we did a good job of that.
It was a great hustle play on his part, but, you know, to Rick's defense, it was the end of the shot clock. He had to shoot it. But I think that, you know, that was a little symbolic of the way that the game went in the second half.
Latrell Sprewell and Allen Houston combined to score 60 points, their highest total so far this postseason. By taking advantage of the unclogged middle, they were effective throughout the entire game, and finally in the fourth quarter, when they combined for 17 points.
We were in there watching tape. They showed what they've done in fourth quarters. And it kind of, you know, you can look at both of them. They were like, okay, we're not going to let this happen again.
When you got Spree and Houston shooting the ball and scoring the way they were, I mean, I don't care who else you put out on the court with them. It's going to work. So you can say small ball or big ball. I don't care. If those two guys are scoring, they're going to hurt you.
We're at our best when we're attacking and when we get the ball where we want to get it and sometimes get to the basket, and if they back off, shoot a jump shot.
Allen and I were really aggressive, and we felt really good. We got into a rhythm, and we played with a lot of confidence today.
You still got Sprewell and Houston out there playing well. You know, we need a whole lot of more people to go down.
Chris Childs pointed out that even if Chris Dudley were to go down, the Knicks still have Andrew Lang to occupy the middle. But in all seriousness, Patrick Ewing and Marcus Camby are listed as day-to-day, so they could be back for Game 4. The Knicks continue to insist they are a better team with a complete lineup. But after last year's conference finals and Saturday's win, the Pacers might think otherwise. In New York, Melissa Stark, ESPN.
Melissa, thank you. ESPN Radio's coverage of the conference finals will continue tomorrow. It's Game 4 between Portland and the Lakers. It all begins at 3:07 p.m. Eastern Time.
Billy, back to baseball. Cardinals lead the Mets 8-6. This is amazing when you consider the Mets scored 5 runs in the top of the first inning. Mike Piazza, a homer, his 14th. Ray Lankford, a homer for the Cardinals, his 10th. Mark McGwire has 2 singles, which means he now has 13 for the season. Oh, by the way, he has 20 home runs. Pirates and Rockies. Jason Kendall on first after one of his 4 hits. Pirates up 2-0 when Will Cordero is in the upright and locked position. Almost hits the concession stand. 2-run shot, his 6th, 4-0. Score now 5-2 Pirates, 2 on for Todd Helton. Helton, after 5 foul balls, Helton. His 14th homer, a 3-run schmack. What was 5-0 there is now 5-5. Pick it up in the 9th, Todd Helton. Thanks, good night, and go home. It's a game-winning home run, his 15th, as the Rockies win 7-6. So Helton with a pair goes 4 for 4 and raises his average to 406 on the season. He's hitting 481 for the season at Coors. It's his 3rd multi-homer game this season. By the way, by rallying from 5 down to win it, makes the 21st time this month a Major League team has rallied from 5 down to win. Expos and Padres tied at 1 in the top of the 6th. Eric Owens, a solo homer for San Diego. Vlad Guerrero, an RBI single for Montreal. Complete highlights of this game coming up on Baseball Tonight.
Same goes for the Marlins and the Reds, now tied up at 6, playing the top of the 10th inning. Cliff Floyd has 2 home runs in the game for Florida. He's now got 8 on the year, has also driven in 5 runs for the Marlins. 6-6 in Cincinnati, playing the top of the 10th.
Stay where you are when SportsCenter returns. More on Mike Modano and the Stars. They're no small fries. They're heading back to the Stanley Cup Finals.
The Indianapolis 500 on ABC Sunday.
Everything you see around you, every day of your life, that's where vision begins. The doctor is in.
Micro Thin Plus Clears, the latest innovation from Pearl Vision. Our thinnest, lightest, strongest lens ever. Scratch resistant and completely glare free. One more innovation from the Eye Care Center founded by a doctor.
Nobody cares for eyes more than pearl.
Right now, save $50 when you buy a complete pair of prescription eyeglasses.
1-800-COLLECT presents Ava Save-A-Lot.
Hey, you in the hat. Who you calling collect, Mom? Or girlfriend?
It's my girlfriend.
Then show her you really care. Dial 1-800-COLLECT, as in collect calls. Got it?
It's easy.
And it saves the people you call at least $1 or $2. Girlfriends love that. Can someone move the truck that's blocking me?
Mom, I'll call you back.
1-800-COLLECT. Save at least $1 or $2.
Labor ready. Dependable temporary labor.
You ready?
Yeah.
Dad, can we go again?
The all-new Volvo V70. The next generation family car.
Charlie Daniels put it to song. The Devil went down to Georgia. The NHL script reads that the Devils are going to Texas. Or Texas. New Jersey in 1995, the last Eastern Conference team to win the Stanley Cup. To get it back, they'll have to take it away from the team that won it a year ago. Gary Thorne and Bill Clement with a look at what Dallas did to get there and what the Devils will have to do to win the Cup again.
For a while, it looked like the heart of the Lion had left, and then the Avalanche, trailing 3-0 in the third period, came back with 2 goals, Bill, in a dramatic Game 7 finish.
I think Ken Hitchcock nailed it during this series when he said his team had become situation motivated, that the table had to present itself in such a way to really bring the best out of the champions. It did here in Game 7, but it didn't turn out to be as easy as it looked like it was 2/3 of the way through the game.
With just over 10 seconds left to go and Patrick Waugh on the bench, this is how close they came.
And the Avs had been coming and coming. The Stars were melting down. Adam Deadmarsh with a deflection from a Ray Bork shot. Bing! Ed Belfour looked around and must have sighed the greatest sigh of relief in his career when he heard it and then saw it bouncing wide because we were that far from going to overtime.
So as a result, it'll be the New Jersey Devils in the East and the Dallas Stars defending their cup, and a series of two teams who kind of look in the mirror and see each other.
They look in the mirror, they see each other. They're both relatively healthy. A couple of guys nicked up, but the main players, the key guys that we'll end up focusing on in the finals are healthy. It's going to be a very strong defensive game. A lot more great goaltending with Marty Brodeur and Eddie Belfour.
It all gets underway Tuesday for Game 1 on ESPN of the Stanley Cup Finals. For the Avs, a very tough way to end it, and for Eddie Belfour, just who is that wave for? They win it 3-2.
Thanks, guys. Further inside the numbers, taking a look at what happened in the regular season. Dallas took both regular season meetings. Each goal in each of these games for both teams scored by a different player. Now, Patrick Elias was the only Devil with both a goal and an assist against Dallas this year. Elias trying to become just the third Devil to lead the team in scoring in both the regular season and the playoffs. So, if you're wondering, when can I see the Stanley Cup Finals? Well, that's why we're here. Here's the complete rundown of all 7 games, if all 7 are necessary. Games 1 and 2 on ESPN. The rest of the Stanley Cup Finals will be on ABC. And don't forget, for a 1/2 hour prior to each game on ESPN, the Quest for the Cup, getting you set for each game in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Coming up, we pay tribute to a hockey legend, Maurice Richard, the Rocket, dead at 78.
If hockey is a religion, Maurice Richard was God.
All right, suckers, ears up, minds open. Mrs. Jones is transmitting. Why are our sisters making less when they're busting their butts to the max? I'm speaking of pro women athletes. Are they playing any less hard than the fellas? Is their blood any less red? Whether it's tennis, track, or hoops, their sacrifice is the same. Yet women receive less. They deserve more. The more, the better. Free your mind and your game will follow. Can you dig it?
Norman!
Yes, Mother.
What is this?
It's pizza, Mother.
Half cheese and half pepperoni?
Half for you and half for me. Just the way we like it.
So, someone delivered this pizza. You know what happens when we have visitors.
It's not delivery, Mother.
Don't lie to me, boy!
No, Mother. It's DiGiorno.
Our new half and half pizza keeps everyone in the family happy. It's not delivery. It's DiGiorno.
Such a good boy.
Yes, Mother.
Philips CD recorder. Burn your own CDs.
How to speak Australian. Designated driver. Beer. Foster's. Australian for beer.
Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals? Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue. So don't send the wrong signals. Get Selsun Power.
None other than Gordie Howe on the Rocket. He could rile up the Montreal fans in a hurry. God, sometimes I felt sorry for the man. He must have got a standing ovation when he went shopping. He was born Joseph Henri Maurice Richard in August of 1921, but he'll forever be known as the Rocket. The first man to score 50 goals in a season, in 50 games no less, wasn't just a player. He personified his sport, playing for the team, the Canadiens, and the city, Montreal, that symbolized hockey royalty. John Butchergross has more on the passing of a cultural icon.
Maurice Richard to Elmer Locke. And Richard scores, 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 scores.
His legacy to the sport was that nobody ever played with more passion. Nobody ever wanted his team to win more.
Most of the people who revere him never saw him play a game.
He's already passed into legend, and what he's done is mythic.
If hockey is a religion, Maurice Richard was God.
Maurice Richard was Montreal hockey. A son of the city where he starred, Richard played with a flair and competitive spirit that made him a cultural icon throughout French Canada. He simply was the Rocket.
When he scored, there was a different sound to the cheer in the Montreal Forum. It was a touch louder than it has ever been for anybody else.
Leading Montreal to the Stanley Cup in his second season, Richard's brilliance on the ice began to grow. His 5 goals against Toronto in 1 Cup Finals game was the harbinger of a legendary career.
That 5-goal night, and when they announced the 3 stars, which is a tradition that Canadian hockey still has, they announced the 3 stars are Richard, Richard, Richard.
The following season, 1944-45, Richard became the first player to score 50 goals in a season. He did it in just 50 games. And although he never won a scoring title and only once was he voted league MVP, Richard's 544 career goals set the standard for his era.
He's the Babe Ruth of hockey, Rocket, and no one can step on him without getting a little backlash from the people of Quebec or Montreal.
Never was that backlash more evident than in 1955, when the Rocket was suspended for the remainder of the season by NHL President Clarence Campbell for a vicious high-sticking incident. With Richard's best chance at a scoring title dashed and the Canadiens' hopes for the Cup over, Montreal fans took to the streets in protest.
Rocket was suspended, and Clarence Campbell stood up, went to the Montreal Forum and withstood the wrath of the fans, who then, of course, rioted and just about tore up the city of Montreal.
Still beloved by the fans in Montreal, Richard returned in 1995 for the closing of the Forum. The touching ovation, unprecedented in its length, awaited French Canada's favorite son. Maurice Richard leaves a legacy of two-fisted competitiveness and unparalleled grace. His name etched 8 times on the Stanley Cup. And while it took an inoperable form of cancer to finally ground the Rocket, the memories of number 9 will last forever.
Richard's legacy on the ice, those 8 Stanley Cups in 18 seasons, including 5 straight. His legacy off the ice, 7 children and 14 grandchildren.
The state says you already killed your husband. They can't convict you a second time.
Critics call Double Jeopardy a riveting cat-and-mouse action thriller.
I think maybe this woman has been telling the truth.
With spine-tingling suspense from start to finish.
Hello, Nick.
Tommy Lee Jones, Ashley Judd.
Did I make the right choice? I didn't have a choice.
Murder's only a crime the first time. Double Jeopardy.
Where's my son?
Playing this month on Direct Ticket, only on Direct TV.
I can always tell when I'm in New York.
You are like the ultimate guy.
Don't smile at me, Davis. I hate that.
You've got to beat the best.
You're in the zone.
To be the best. For love of the game.
Playing this month on Direct Ticket pay-per-view.
Brett Hull, Oscar De La Hoya, Tiger Woods.
It's 3Play at ESPN.com. You log on, you register, and every day you get 3 new athletes. Then whoever gets the best stats wins some serious scotto. Ken Griffey Jr., Alonso Jr., a fellow in the 9th named Jr. 3Play at ESPN.com. It's free, it's sports. Give me the briefcase. It's money.
All right, suckers, ears up, minds open. Mrs. Jones is transmitting. Why are our sisters making less when they're busting their butts to the max? I'm speaking of pro women athletes. Are they playing any less hard than the fellas? Is their blood any less red? Whether it's tennis, track, or hoops, their sacrifice is the same. Yet women receive less. They deserve more. The more, the better. Free your mind and your game will follow. Can you dig it?
In 9 dramatic minutes, the wall between fans and players was breached, raising questions about ballpark security.
Emotions are running high, and one of my players gets hammered in the back of the head and something stolen from him. The initial reaction when your emotions are like that is to grab the guy.
It led to the most widespread discipline in baseball's history. I'm Bob Lee. Outside the Lines examines how safe players are at the ballpark. 10:30 a.m. Eastern Sunday morning.
Today's best for the CarQuest 300. There were 9 caution flags. Lap 164, watch the yellow gas can, yes can, in the rear of Martin's car. Takes off with a can still attached. That's a problem. He would have to return to the pits on the next lap to have it removed. He would finish second. Tough to drive with a gas can in the back there. Jeff Burton with the lead final lap. Around the final corner, he would take the checkered flag, his second victory this season, 12th of his career. Third round of the LPGA Corning Classic. On Route 17, upstate New York, Kelly Keeney, four-footer for birdie, 67 on the day. Now Betsy King from the fringe on 18, 30-footer for birdie. Keeney the leader by 1.
Today's best is brought to you by continued at whatever.nike.com.
MLS, Wizards in mutiny. Chris Klein crosses the ball, and Chris Henderson heads the ball to Miklos Molnar. Bicycle kick, goal! Wizards go up 2-0. Later, 2-0 Wizards, Valderrama. Diallo beats Tony Meola short side. Hey, wait a minute. We've got real Wrath of God stuff going on here. Oh, by the way, Wizards going to win the game 2-1.
Marlins now lead the Reds 7-6 in the top of the 10th. Preston Wilson has driven in the go-ahead run. Complete highlights of this contest coming up at the top of the hour on Baseball Tonight.
Mets and Cardinals. Cardinals still leading at 8-6 in this one. Mets have blown a 5-0 lead in the top of the first. If the Cardinals come back to win this game, it would be the 22nd time this month that a team has rallied from at least 5 runs down to win a game. Ray Langford a homer. Mike Piazza a homer, Mark McGwire 2 singles. He still has 7 more home runs than singles. Don't forget, Matt Clement of the Pods on the hill tonight. Baseball Tonight will have complete highlights of all the late-breaking games.
Refreshing as a mountain stream. Head for the mountains of Busch Beer.
We spend most of the time outdoors in the summer.
I'm off work because I'm a teacher, so the kids have a blast. What can I say?
Follow Daddy.
I will say this about Walmart. Think of it like one big indoor playscape.
What is that? Well, they've got great prices.
You can splurge without going into debt. You want to help Daddy mow the lawn this summer?
We got the pool.
And we got some clothes.
And of course, I like all the home and garden things like that also.
A little too much.
Yeah.
Find it all at Walmart, your Memorial Day headquarters.
I think we're set for summer, but if we're not, we'll be back.
Are you crying? Are you crying? There's no crying. There's no crying in baseball. Rogers Hornsby was my manager, and he called me a talking pile of pig slop. And that was when my parents drove all the way from Michigan to see me play the game. Did I cry? No. And you know why? No. Because there's no crying in baseball.
Baseball Tonight, every night at 10 and midnight on ESPN.
SportsCenter is brought to you by brand name tires, oil changes, and more at your neighborhood Walmart Tire and Lube Express. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network. Go.com.
It's ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball. Comes your way tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Sox and the Yanks. Each team has won 1 game of the series so far. Pedro Martinez against Roger Clemens. And our next Sports Center here on ESPN in 1 hour with Steve Berthume and John Anderson as the Knicks go small and beat the Pacers in Game 3. Stars on their way to the Stanley Cup to take on the Devils. A great Game 7 against Colorado. And Tiger continues to roar in Ohio.
Quick update for you now. Todd Zeile has just hit a grand slam in St. Louis, his 8th career grand slam. Complete highlights of that coming up next on Baseball Tonight. This is a professional television segue. That's our next program. I'm Trey Wingo.
I'm Bill Pito. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a nice night.
Many runs.